Joe talks about Joe. And now, your host, Joe Slepsky.
Hey, and welcome back to Joe on Joe. I'm your host, Joe Slepsky. That music you heard up top was Jay Flax and the Heart Attacks with our new intro theme song to Joe on Joe, the only podcast where every week we watch an episode of G.I. Joe and we comment on it MST3K style with me, Joe Slepsky. But I'm not alone this week. Oh, no, I'm not alone. I'm sitting oceanside in the beautiful city of Carmel, California, with a bearded man, a tall man, a long-time bosom friend of mine.
Old friend.
Old friend. His name is Mr. Chris Ruhnke.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on Joe, Chris. Now, Chris is he's out here vacationing from Chicago, the lovely city of Chi-Town.
Correct.
And Chris is he's a union electrician by trade.
Yes.
Local 134.
Local 134.
Shout out. You want to give a shout to any shout out to your homies?
Oh, no. They're
or?
all losers and jag-offs. It's fine.
Okay, well, I hope you share this with them. Chris, so you've been an electrician for 17 years?
17 years. Year 2000 I got in.
And do you like it?
Oh, I love it. It's surprisingly good mathematicians make good electricians.
Really?
Is what I found out. And I was able to put some of that algebra and trigonometry and geometry to good use.
That you learned at Harold L. Richards High School.
None other than.
That's where we met.
So
we probably met freshman year, but I think we were talking today. We kind of befriended each other sophomore year, right?
Yeah, we became more friends sophomore year through high school football.
Yeah. Chris is a strapping man. He is 6'6".
6'6".
I'm 6'3", so I was always the tallest. And then you came along.
And I was like, out of the way, shorty.
Yeah. Out of the way, shorty. I've got a mullet that needs tending to.
For sure.
Sure.
Back then, 91, the mullet was in full effect back then.
Yeah, that was, early 90s and lots of mullets. You have really long hair. So now that hair, that's translated to your beard.
Correct. No more party in the rear.
No more party in the rear. The entire party is up front. And that's important for you listeners out there to know.
No doubt about it.
Well, what's funny is you don't have long hair any longer because every year you do the St. Baldrick's Shave Your Head for charity, correct?
Correct, yeah. St. Baldrick's is a foundation set up for children's cancer research. So I get my head shaved in March to raise funds for that charity and let it grow throughout the year to do it all over again.
So our listeners are going to hear this, I want to say the first week or so of March. What weekend in March are you doing it?
March 19th, I do it again. I can be found on Facebook where I usually share I'll share the link to that St. Baldrick's website to my personal page where you can donate any small amount.
And Joe, we will tweet that link out.
That's fantastic.
So if you're out there listening and you're familiar with St. Baldrick's or you just want to Google them, please do so because it's a great foundation. Now, when they shave the locks, do they use them in wigs or is it just shaving as what do you call that? An example, you know what I mean? Like you're doing it in solidarity with them.
You're doing it in solidarity with the kids who lose their hair through chemotherapy. There are other charities that you can cut lengths of your hair that then get made into wigs for children who lose their hair. But this is not directly involved with that charity. Okay. This is more to raise funds for the St. Baldrick's Foundation.
And what's amazing is that so you've been doing this for how many years?
This will be my 7th year.
7th year doing this. So Chris is a proud father of 3 lovely daughters.
Yes.
His beautiful wife Heather is out here. They're actually out here in California celebrating her birthday, and your 3 daughters are super great, super smart, super talented, and your eldest, she's shaved her head.
She has. She joined
times?
me. One time she joined me when she was 13, so it was my 2nd year doing it.
Yeah.
And she braved the shave when she was a freshman in high school. So
imagine that.
Complete shout out to my daughter. So brave, so full of spunk.
She's great. Imagine the parenting, and I mean this seriously, like the really solid parenting where you've convinced a 13-year-old girl to shave her head bald to raise money for children that she didn't even know.
Correct.
It's amazing, and
she's quite something.
Yeah, it's amazing, and you guys are quite something as parental units. Let me throw that out there. But enough kissing up to you, Chris Ruhnke. Let's
Absolutely.
talk G.I. Joe, my man.
Oh, for sure.
So now we are peers, and I know you came up with G.I. Joe when you were a kid, but I don't know that you were as rabid as I was.
I was not. I remember watching the show here and there. I remember watching its similar shows. I think Rambo was a complete ripoff of
Rambo
G.I.
was.
Joe a couple of years later on, mid-'80s.
Yeah.
But I remember, the PSAs that they did afterwards, the slogan
Yep.
of
Now you know.
now you know, and
it's-
knowing's half the battle. So
Absolutely.
that's become part of history.
Did you have any of the toys? Did you have any G.I. Joe toys?
No, I was more of a sci-fi nerd with He-Man and Thundercats.
Oh, I love Thundercats.
Yeah.
I love He-Man. Let's talk He-Man for a brief tangent.
Okay.
What were your He-Man characters? Who did you have?
Oh, name them. I mean, as
Did you have Fisto?
we did have Fisto, we had Moss Man, we had what were
Tila?
some?
Did you have Tila?
Of course, we
Man-at-Arms.
We acted like, oh, we don't want the girl toys, but
Oh,
you had.
no,
I mean, you had to have
You
them.
had to have Tila because
Right.
otherwise, just two beefcake dudes hanging out, which
Right.
is cool. Yeah, listen, I'm not judging.
No,
Not judging. I'm just saying. Did you have Prince Adam?
you know what? We didn't. I remember watching the cartoon and thinking, why do I need that?
I watched that cartoon, and
Mm-hmm.
my thought was, I do need that. I wanted a Prince Adam. In fact, I was on my mom about making me a prince because my mom and my aunt made Barbie clothes for like they would sell them at flea markets, you know,
Okay.
or craft shows. They would
Not
go to,
for you to wear or anything.
No. I would. I was much too fashionable to be seen in them. I wish. This was like '80s Barbie clothes, so like lots of leather,
Sure.
and plaid, and like
Oh, yeah.
like
Bright colors.
yeah, three like suits, like the leisure suits and stuff.
Right.
My aunt had all these patterns, so she would make a lot of clothing for dolls. So it was a source of income for her. And I always wanted them to make clothing for He-Man because I was in my head, in my kid head, I'm like, that's you. It's the same dude,
Right.
You just put a purple vest on him, and he becomes Prince Adam. And I would bug him about it. I'm like, get a, because you had to have a stencil for it. You know?
Right.
I was like, get a stencil, make me clothing, make me Prince Adam clothing. And then the next thing you know, like next year, there was just a straight up Prince
They
Adam
just
doll.
came out with one. So.
Totally. They did exactly what I thought they should do. They take the exact same He-Man figure
Of course.
with zero changes to it.
Same mold,
Yeah,
different
same
paint.
everything, and just put 32 cents of clothing on them.
Right.
Yeah. So I had Prince Adam. Did you have like Battle Cat?
We had Battle Cat. We had Castle Grayskull.
Awesome.
I believe that was a Christmas present. You know,
Oh, yeah.
that was a little bit more than the average toy cost.
You got to
but
save up for the cat.
yeah, that's got to be a big event.
Most
but
definitely.
for sure.
Snake Mountain
No Snake Mountain.
with the voice changing.
Yeah,
Like-
right. It had the
Yeah,
microphone
like,
you talked into. You could be like, "Hey, man, you're going to die."
Yeah. You'll have my permission to die, He-Man. It was like Bane before Bane. Did you watch the He-Man cartoon at all?
Oh, religiously.
Yeah, I really loved it. so
That was
much.
great. I remember that. I don't know. It must have been the same production company as the Tarzan cartoon of the
Well,
same era.
It was Filmation, and I do think think Tarzan was Filmation.
Because I remember they had some of the same type of running,
reused.
like landing. You know,
Oh,
they
yeah,
basically just come, insert new character into same animation and work it out that way.
Yeah, Filmation. We talked a little bit on it with our episode with and my friend Aaron Harvey because he's down with the Filmation stuff from the Star Trek. He does a Star Trek podcast.
Okay.
And Filmation as a studio was amazing. They kept when all the animation jobs, I'm no expert in this, my understanding is when all the animation jobs were getting outsourced overseas in the early 80s, late 70s, Filmation, Lou Scheimer was like, we're keeping them here in California. These are my friends and then their families we need to support.
That's awesome.
So they kept the animation here. And so in order to save money on it, that's why you got so much reused stock footage on
Sure.
He-Man. And they probably used some of the same footage on Tarzan because they were trying to keep costs down so that they could keep the jobs here in California.
As a union guy, I totally appreciate
Yeah,
that.
right? Represent. Union represent.
Right.
Our previous episode, Shipwreck expressed surprise when he found out Cobra had a health plan.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's all union. That's great. So today we're watching an episode called The Wrong Stuff. Now,
Obviously a play on words.
exactly. It's got there's kind of two aspects to the show. The first half of the show, I love it. I think it's a great episode. The first half of the show is Cobra takes over the airwaves. So this is pre-cable. So this is, like they're actually they take over. Strangely, they actually take over cable.
Okay.
But they take over airwaves with their own programming. Mm-hmm. But then the second half is the Joes have to go into space. So it's all space training. So it's totally like the right stuff.
Gotcha.
It's a lot of fun.
Sounds like it.
I'm excited. We're going to get into it. And if you're out there and if you're on social media and you want to find me, you can find me at Joe on Joe Pod. That's on Twitter and Facebook. On Instagram, I send out pictures of the G.I. Joe trading cards from 1991. Chris, I went back and put together a full, complete set of those. It's not very difficult to do, but it's so rewarding.
Well, you had 95% of them to start with, I'm sure.
You know what? Strangely, I didn't, because they came out when I was kind of done with G.I. Joe. I was into comics straight then. But I was still reading G.I. Joe comic, but I was done with collecting the G.I. Joe toys. So I wasn't into, I didn't, when the cards came out, I wasn't down with the cards, but I knew they existed. And so then fast forward to the year 2000, and I was just like, all right, I'm an adult. Let me get these cards. The hard cards they did a series of trading cards that were actually packaged like the toy. Mm-hmm. I don't exactly know how to describe them. I don't know if they have a name, like the ones of the Impel ones. But they had a lot of the box art from the toys. Mm-hmm. And they would hang on the racks like the toys would with the little peg next to them.
Like a blister pack.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a blister pack with cards in them instead of the regular sealed trading card pack.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it was from 85, 86.
Cool.
And these cards, they're so expensive. You can get packs on eBay. You can get sealed packs for $20 a pack.
So you don't know what's in there.
Yeah, and you get 4 cards. And
right.
then when someone's put together a full collection, it's hundreds and hundreds
sure.
of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're going in blind, then 3 of them are repeats that you've already got. But
totally, yeah. But they're really great because they're the original artwork, which was super really high quality stuff.
Cool.
But way too expensive.
I'm sure
we're gonna have to monetize this podcast before I can start dipping into.
Well,
never know. Hey, you're listening. If you're out there, no. And you know what? If you're out there and you want to send me a note to be a guest on the show, send me a note to say the show is terrible.
Right.
Or
get better guests.
Yeah. Or send a note to say get Chris Ruhnke back on because he's amazing. You can send me a note to joeonjoepod@gmail.com and we will get you on. We've had 3 remote guests, and I love it. I love meeting people, strangers from all over the country, and talking Joe.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I prefer doing it in person. So when you said you were coming out to California, I'm like, I'm getting him on.
Done.
We're doing it in person, done. But otherwise, we would have had to do it remotely, and still would have been amazing. So Chris Ruhnke, shout out Local 134.
For sure. Shout out to my buddies at home who are working tirelessly this week while I'm on vacation.
I love it. We are going to get into the wrong stuff, and here we go. Yo, Joe, Chris Ruhnke. So, let's refresh your memory. You're seeing all these guys fly across the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember them? Do you remember? Because earlier you were trying to refresh yourself on names.
Yeah, you know what? I remember everybody's favorite was Snake Eyes, the Black Ninja.
Yeah.
But then there was also a White Ninja on the G.I. Joe side.
Well, he was on the Cobra side. But then
I've got it
occasionally
backwards.
No. In the comics, he would occasionally join the G.I. Joe team.
I see.
So, but on the show, Storm Shadow was the bad guy, and Snake Eyes was the good guy. So, are you seeing anyone that looks
I
familiar?
remember Destro.
That's
I
Cobra
remember
Commander.
Cobra Commander.
And sometimes he would have a hood, and sometimes he would have the face mask.
Yeah, right. And Scarlet was the redhead.
Yeah.
Duke.
Yep. Duke, the blonde and the the tan shirt. That's
right.
Flint. You got Shipwreck, you got Roadblock, there's Snake Eyes, there's Quick Kick Barbecue.
Kick Barbecue. I ate there once.
Here it is, the wrong stuff written by Flint Dilley and Stanley Ralph Ross. Stanley Ralph Ross is a name I don't recall seeing. But we open with a Cobra branded space shuttle. Cobra brands everything.
Right, with a snake name.
Their branding is so on point. That's probably the Snakeulus Shuttleless. Or something like that.
Of course.
Well,
it's grabbing satellites and bringing them into the shuttle.
Yeah.
So what would be the snake equivalent of that?
I don't know, but remember, this is 85.
Okay.
What was more popular than the space shuttle in 1980? I mean, this
Not
is pre-Challenger.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Actually, let's literally look at this. This is actually about 2 months before the Challenger.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Or
You're right.
1 month. It's about 1 month or so
85,
before the Challenger.
Right? 86.
Yeah. The Challenger disaster. So we keep that in mind. We've got the Joes working out. That dude's doing some serious flips.
He is.
Gung Ho's. There's a couple guys
Grappling.
Of course, the women are just riding bikes.
Yeah, right. They don't lift.
They don't lift. They don't get yoked.
No.
Wild Bill in a rare sans hat look.
No
You
hat
remember
at all.
Do you remember Wild Bill, the helicopter pilot?
Then he always had like not an Indiana Jones hat, but kind of like
like a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
That's Roadblock. In this episode, Roadblock rhymes a ton, and it's amazing. There's a lot of rhyming in this episode. So they turn TV on, and it's a new like Cobra strange commercial for like a strange Cobra TV show. So this is all very new. Roadblock's never seen this before, right? It's the Cobra News Network. That's Duke. He was doing sparring with Snake Eyes, and Cobra's taking over. This is amazing. Watch this.
I pity the fool.
Mr. C.
Mr. C in the
With
Cobra propaganda.
Yeah, with a C mohawk shaved into his head instead of Mr. T.
And then there's a Johnny Carson type
Yeah.
Tonight Show.
Yeah, interviewing Cobra Commander, who's just, casually hanging out.
He's got the legs crossed on the couch and everything.
It's actually a pretty decent resemblance of Johnny Carson.
Oh, yeah, you can tell
On the close
what they
up,
were
yeah.
going for.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's basically a Cobra propaganda network. Kind of like, I feel like Trump would really love to do a network like this.
Oh, for sure. That wouldn't be fake news at all.
Yeah, just throwing this out there. I feel like this is something that he would be into. So now we're going to cut back to the Cobra operation. There's some King Kong footage, but wait, watch this. This is great.
You can never win if your enemy is bigger and stronger than you.
How great is that?
Look straight into the camera.
They changed the ending to the movie King Kong, Chris.
Because you could never win.
Yeah.
Now wait, who's the glasses wearing villainess?
That's Baroness.
Baroness,
Yeah, that's
right.
Baroness, yeah.
I always found her
Yeah.
sexy.
So Cobra's plan is to use the media to sway the public's opinion towards them. Like, this is literally ripped from today's headlines.
Right, so now they're going to be the heroes in the eyes of the public if they
Right.
can convince them.
This is 100% ripped from politics today. That's a cool animated look.
Yeah,
You see that?
the
They're
reflection in the face.
Yeah, they're throwing reflections of Destro and Baroness in Cobra Commander's face shield, which looks pretty sweet.
But
he's explaining this. People believe television. They believe what they see on TV.
Perception's reality.
And that's 100% what's happening today. 100%.
That's a cool perspective there too.
Senator Flem is a bit odd, Duke, but he's also head of the Aeronautics
We
and
had
Space
over to
Committee.
So we need
DC,
his help. I'll be
and
patient, Colonel Sharp.
the Joes have to talk to somebody because they need to go into space, and they don't have a space. They don't have a space program.
No.
Later on, they would get one. They would get the Defiant space shuttle, which was one of the bigger toys. It wasn't as big as the USS Flag. Do you remember the Flag aircraft carrier?
The aircraft carrier.
Yeah,
I
which was-
remember seeing like Sears catalog.
Yeah, it was big enough. It was like 6 feet long, and it was big enough to fit multiple Sky Strikers, which were huge themselves. Well, they also made a Defiant, which was the space shuttle, and
Okay.
it had so it had the full-on shuttle with the boosters, and it had a launching bay and everything. It was like a 3-part toy. It was really cool.
Where would you even put that?
I don't know.
I mean, I always wonder with the bigger toys like that in the catalog. You're going to have to put on your dad's pool table, and
Right.
then where do you play pool?
Yeah, like once you put it together,
Right.
you're done.
30
Like
seconds
you
of
have to
commercial
annex
time will
your
now cost
siblings' room.
5
Right.
million.
Sorry, Carl.
Yeah.
You're off your rocker.
So now that Cobra controls TV, all the advertising costs
Then your
for
competitors get to sell their deodorant
for commercials
or designer
on TV,
jeans
they're
while
jacking
you
up the
go out
prices.
of business.
Surprise, surprise.
Shocker, because that's what Extensive Enterprises does.
Oh yeah, greed is good.
So now we got a Smurfs parody. Like, this show is great with like all these little.
They were
in-jokes.
hitting on all of that
Yeah.
at that.
So now we're making Smurfs parodies, but it also looks like was it the Wobbles, the Weebles? You know what I'm talking about? This is definitely supposed to be Smurfy.
Yes. Yeah, they're all the
But-
same
Yeah, the
primary color.
the Poppables or something. I don't know, it's reminding me of something else. Ace just showed up, looking awesome. We got the rocket
Alpine,
boosters
you
installed on the Sky
and
Strikers.
how?
If you don't stop Cobra this
And
time,
they're getting
I may
together a
never
list
see
of
bowling
people.
for dollars again.
Alpine makes multiple bowling for dollars jokes over the course of the season. This is not the first time. See this? Wait. Okay. Cobra Commander bouncing around the globe. That's what? That's from the Dictator movie with
Charlie Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, that's totally straight from there.
Have visitors.
And the Wonder Twins are balancing on top of it. What are their names?
Tomax and Seima.
Alpine and Lady J.
Excellent. We'll kill 3 birds with 1 stone.
So the Joes, they've got the Sky Strikers modified so they can go into space. And they're going to knock out, and they get into space pretty easily.
Anti-satellite missiles
And they've got anti-satellite missiles.
Huh?
I'm sick of hearing about Roger.
That's
Don't
awesome.
fire till we have
Alpine's
visual
hilarious.
contact with a settle. Uh-oh.
So did you have any Joe figures at all?
No.
Really?
Yeah,
Not-
my only knowledge was from in passing from friends, or like we were talking about toys in the toy aisle or catalogs.
Yeah.
But never owned myself.
Okay. The Dreadnoks are once again in space. Okay, so do you know what the Dreadnoks are?
Not exactly.
This is So Zartan is the Cobra face changer, like shape, like he's master of disguise. That's the word
Shapeshifter.
I'm looking for. Yeah. And he runs a team called the Dreadnoks. And I'm not kidding you. Anytime they go into space, it's the Dreadnoks. They're a bunch of illiterate bikers. They're always manning the space stations. Why is Cobra always putting illiterate bikers in space?
They were destined to fail.
Well, they've shot missiles at the Joes, and our 3 Joes are now plummeting through space, about to die.
G.I. Joe
Right.
will return after these messages.
Today's Filecard Feature is on the G.I. Joe Mountain Trooper, codenamed Alpine. His file name also is Alpine. This is a first. His name is Albert M. Pine. His primary military specialty is the Mountain Trooper. Secondary military specialty is the finance clerk. His place of birth is Minidoka, Idaho. From the middle of the flat, dusty Snake River Plain where Alpine was born, he could see the mountains on the horizon in almost every direction, like a physical barrier between him and the world he wanted. He took up mountain climbing during college and continued as a recreational climber during his brief tenure as an accountant for a large publishing firm. The G.I. Joe team gave Alpine the most hazardous of all conditions, with Cobra shooting at him. He graduated the Ranger School, Fort Benning. He's a qualified expert in the M16, M14, M60, M19, 11A1. Quote, every time Alpine scales a sheer cliff face python by python, overcoming granite and gravity with muscle and persistence, he is symbolically climbing out of the quagmire of his past. That's why we send him up first on vertical assaults. He doesn't take to being knocked down too easily. Alpine is one of the signature Joes on this series, hands down, no doubt about it. He was introduced in the 3rd miniseries, alongside with Bazooka, his best friend, and Quick Kick. Like the 3 of them were like the 3 Stooges. Alpine on the show is well known for his yodeling. He often uses it to knock down things that are precariously balanced or cause an avalanche or something. It's the traditional yodel-hee-hoo, and he finishes up with a, oh yeah. He's fantastic. Absolutely one of the best characters on the TV show. 100%. I did not recall that his name was Albert Pine. His name is Alpine. It's so fantastic. I love Alpine. He's so great. And so Alpine, Mr. Albert M. Pine, the Mountain Trooper, we salute you. Larry Hama was sleeping that day.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
Well, Ace, what do we do now?
Lady J, it's like that movie with what's the Gravity. It's like
Gravity.
Right
Yeah,
now
right.
we're dealing with the movie Gravity.
Threefold.
Yeah. But I want to get back to this. Why does Cobra keep thinking that illiterate bikers deserve to be in space?
Because they know how to get things done.
Always in space.
They got the muscle.
I will say they are definitely in low Earth orbit because
Which means
they're re-entering the atmosphere
Right.
without burning alive.
Without being dead.
Yeah. So I will say that. Although it's kind of like when that guy launched off the balloon recently.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was in the upper stratosphere.
Yeah, that's essentially what they're doing here. Is they're coming down from being in the upper stratosphere. I don't think realistically they would have lived.
No.
Just saying.
Right.
I've seen Gravity.
Or if they were into space as far as they were, may not have even been pulled in by gravity.
Right. However, Duke is saying we're now sending not just 3 Sky Strikers. We're not going to have 18 Sky Strikers get blown
Well,
up.
you know, sometimes you just got to throw more manpower at it.
Yeah, just throw more at it. Everybody volunteers, which
Yeah.
is awesome.
Right.
So now we're getting into.
Oh, wait,
like,
we got ladies doing push-ups.
ladies doing push-ups.
All right.
We're getting into the movie. Oh, it's barbecue. Awesome. We're getting. It's like the movie, The Right Stuff. Everyone's doing.
Yeah.
Do you remember? You've seen The Right Stuff, right?
A long time ago.
Then why do 'em?
Right Stuff. The movie Stripes. Like all those training montages are
Montage.
always so fun.
Sure.
And that's what we're going through right now. So Shipwreck literally can't do the PT.
This is what zero gravity is like. Your stomach. and
Is
your
that a
mouth
shot at
trade
sailing?
places.
Or the sailors?
Your
I
brains
think
feel
it
like
is. I
soggy
think it's taking.
Everybody
a
else
shot.
is like, yeah, push-ups, no problem.
Ain't for me.
Shipwreck's also now getting seasick. Why is Shipwreck getting seasick?
Now he's getting seasick in the
Wait.
zero gravity.
Okay. 2 episodes ago, I've been brought this up a couple times. Someone said, "Hey, Shipwreck, you're not qualified for being a diver."
Yeah, I remember that
Right.
episode. You
But
were
how?
seeing-
But he's a sailor. How
He's
is he
a
not a
sailor.
diver? Like,
On-
how is he not
on the high
certified? Right.
seas.
And so now, how is he getting seasick?
He's getting
Or how is he
seasick,
motion
and he
sickness?
can't do push-ups.
Yeah.
All right.
Right now they're on one of those centrifuges like you get on at Great America
Mm-hmm.
that spin you and suck you to the wall and stuff. There's a lot of dudes eliminated. Duke's out, Gung Ho, Shipwreck's Cover Girl, Mutt, and who was the final one? Was it Alpine? Nope, might have been Dusty. I couldn't see who was at the end.
Grumpy?
Grumpy, Dopey, and Doc.
I like how they all have like the penciled-in mustaches.
Wow.
Where's the bushy Tom Selleck mustaches of yesterday?
Alpine's got a good,
Okay,
got
I
a
see.
good
Well,
Tom Selleck
Alpine,
going.
he's an
Hey,
outdoorsman type.
Scarlett's got a good mustache.
There you go. The 2 guys with the shaved heads have the penciled-in mustaches. Oh yeah, he's got a
dude,
good one going there.
Bazooka's got a real man's
Yeah.
mustache. But he's out.
He's got. Now who is this? Who's the guy with the
14?
Yeah,
That's Bazooka.
Bazooka.
Yeah,
He's got like an Iron Sheik type mustache
yeah, he's
going.
great.
That's
He's
fantastic.
super comedy relief. He's like a dopey dude who just always carries around a giant bazooka and blows things up.
Gotcha.
I will say this though, Snake Eyes disappeared. He volunteered for it and then he dropped out. Like I didn't see him get washed
Yeah,
out.
he was supposed to be
I mean,
the bad
who's-
dude,
You tell me bikers can go into space, but ninjas
but
can't?
ninjas can't hack it,
What's happening?
and definitely not sailors who can't do push-ups.
Right? So Cobra Commander is broadcasting the destruction of the Joes airplanes from the earlier attempt. And he's basically saying, G.I. Joe's you guys love our new programming, and G.I. Joe's he's taunting them.
You
Cobra
got
Commander
nothing.
loves to taunt, and it is his Achilles heel, Chris.
Now they're hitting people up for
They're
charitable donations.
They're totally hitting people up for charitable donations. Cobra's got it covered. Cobra takes, just like the Trump administration, Cobra got it covered. They're getting paid left and right. They're getting paid. It's what's happening. This guy looks like Paul Kersey from Death Wish.
He does.
He does look like
He's
what's
got
his
some
name?
Charles Bronson
Charles
going.
Bronson, yeah.
Now that's a penciled-in mustache you can enjoy.
Yeah. So this is neat. So we've got a giant rocket getting ready to launch, and on the rocket are strapped like 6 Sky Strikers.
Go, you puddle jumpers!
And the Sky Striker is going to get boosted up into orbit, and then they're going to take on, the Cobra missiles. I don't see how this is much different from the previous plan.
Right. Well, bigger numbers.
I guess, but now they know they're coming.
And Farley's headed for the end zone.
No, Cobra Commander just interrupted a football game, which has got to anger some people.
That's no good.
No good at all.
Live and direct from space. A game of
It would be like the Heidi Bowl,
It would be.
except it would be the Cobra Bowl.
It totally would be. We just got Cobra Commander just showed some camera angles for the viewing public of the rocket coming up, where I will say I have absolutely no idea where he's getting those cameras from.
Right.
I don't know
Who's shooting that?
Who's shooting that material? But okay, fair enough.
Wanted my new weapon system badly enough.
So Destro's also on the Cobra platform, and he's got a new weapon system. The Sky Strikers take off. I will say, watching this, seeing the Sky Strikers like in space it's awesome, but
Whose will?
that's hilarious.
Who's Will? See, they're hitting on your biker guys in space.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's
they're
hilarious.
winking to you, saying, "We know
Yeah,
biker
we
guys
know
in
these
space."
biker guys in space are dopes. But seeing Skystrikers fly in space, I'm glad that they eventually introduced like Battle Force 2000 and introduced the Defiant and actual give them space vehicles.
Right.
'Cause the
Oh yeah, we
Skystrikers
made
aren't
some
supposed-
modifications.
Yeah, seeing a Skystriker in space is kind of weird.
If you wear this mask, you can fly an airplane anywhere.
Right. Ace is off course because he got hit, and he's heading, quote, towards the sun. And we're going
That's
to
not that
commercial
far away.
with Ace plummeting into the sun.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Deliver this. The swamp fire will get it there fast. Swamp fire changes color in bright sunlight. It's a trap. The Jones attack and swamp fire takes look out for the hooks. It captures Xandar and Zorana. Thunder machine will bring it up. Thunder machine, meanest machine you've ever seen. Show him some thunder. Head up. Thunder machine is Joe's new evil. G.I. Joe. American hero.
What happens next? Find out in Marvel Comics.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
Strangely enough, Chris Ruhnke, I recently read something. It is incredibly hard to plummet into the sun. If you were to try to do what's happening here, right? Bear with me.
Okay.
If you were to
It's
try,
something you see repeatedly in sci-fi.
right? You do, but it was an actual scientific article that said basically with just the natural. You don't realize it, but we're all spinning around the sun.
Correct.
To counter the rotation that our bodies would naturally have, even once we get out into space with the sun, you would have to thrust reverse direction
Against the flow.
against the flow,
As well
yeah.
as towards it.
Yeah. So like, I think the article was written talking about like I think they were referencing like Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
Wow.
When he takes the nukes and throws them into the sun.
Yeah.
And basically it scientifically broke it down that you would sort of have to throw it.
You're gonna have to lead the throw.
Yeah, you would have to throw it like way far left.
Uh-huh.
And it eventually would arc into the sun.
Right.
But if you were in a ship and just drove straight to it like they're doing
You're gonna
here,
miss it.
Yeah, you would never be able to hit it. It's just this weird. I'm not a scientist, so I don't get it. But it's fascinating to hear that.
You'd slingshot around it like they also
like in
claim
Star
to do.
Trek.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't mean that to bust the physics of G.I. Joe.
This cartoon's
This
not
cartoon's
scientifically
not
accurate.
Scientifically accurate. So Destro's got this.
Put simply, it captures its metallic prey in a tractor beam and ruptures its atoms the way heat pops corn.
That's pretty cool. So he's got a ray beam that is going to boil the Joes alive.
It's a tractor to hold them still
Yeah,
and heat to boil them up.
totally. And all of the Skystrikers are all melting. They're all like boiling, rusting out.
So
Again.
they're gonna bail out in space.
Yeah. Once again, what was the Joe's plan here? This is a terrible plan.
They bail out in space amongst the heat ray.
Yeah, this is a terrible plan.
Why don't you ask for his autograph while you're at it?
That's hilarious. Zartan is jealous.
He's like, "Where's my props?" He pushes a couple buttons, shoots a ray. He didn't do it himself.
Somehow the Joes were able to land on the space station, and they're sneaking into the base via the cannons that were shooting at them earlier. Which is it's a smart play. Sounds fun to me.
Cobra with their classic villain mistake, celebrating early.
Totally.
Not knowing that they won, assuming that they won.
Okay, Wild Bill, underneath his astronaut uniform,
Yep.
wore his cowboy hat.
Yep, and dark glasses.
Alpine also wore his baseball hat underneath the astronaut helmet.
You gotta have it.
I've overlooked something. Nothing on radar. Scanner's neck.
No, Destro's the smartest of all the Cobra guys. He's got his own Achilles heels. His ego
Sure.
gets in the way. But he's always smart enough to know that it's never going to be that easy.
Right.
So he keeps looking for the Joes.
He's seeing if the job's finished.
Right. And he realizes that.
Found the empty suits.
Real quick, those Cobras, they were drinking beer. Did you see that?
Bikers drinking beer.
They were drinking beer.
That's scientifically accurate.
Yeah. The glasses they had in their hand were like yellow, unless it was like pee.
Wow.
But I'm
Back to Trump.
I'm gonna say that they were drinking beer, which is kind of fun. The gravity just got turned off, so then they're gonna bounce.
He just
around.
knocked himself out.
And this is the same gag that they worked the last time the Dreadnoks were in space. The gravity got turned off, and that's when they fought him.
It's a formula.
It really is. If it works, go for it.
I'm gonna bash you good. You wish you could.
See, Roadblock even rhymes when someone else
You
starts
wish
the
you
rhyme.
could.
Gonna bash you good. You wish you could.
They've been trained for zero-G combat. You don't stand a chance.
Yeah, but these guys have been zero G before. Okay, anyway. That's kind of cool. They do have it when Destro shoots his wrist laser, that it pushes him back.
There's some recoil that shoots into the back wall.
Yeah, equal and opposite direction and all that. Wow. Torch. Beating on Lady J from behind.
She took. He needed a blackjack. There needs to be more blackjack for shots to the back of the head.
Totally. So Lady J's half unconscious. Roadblock's rescuing her.
This whole place is gonna blow.
Okay, that's not a rhyme, Roadblock. You need to do better.
He could have there.
Everybody vamoose.
Missed opportunity.
We gotta get loose, right?
Right.
It's totally what he should have said.
Rewrite.
It will also mean the end of 6 G.I. Joes.
Wait, weren't there only 5?
I would say.
Well, Ace was flying into the sun.
Can you make this sucker fly?
Okay, so they think they've killed Ace.
Right.
But we know
I
better.
think he's done for.
Yeah, we know better. So they did leave. There were 2 space shuttles, and Wild Bill gets on the final space shuttle as the station explodes. And here we see Ace hurtling in space, grabbed by the shuttle.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he's rescued.
So the shuttle that the Joes stole.
Yeah.
They used the crane grabber technology to pull him back in.
I would like to point out the one guy that got hit was the pilot. Ace is the jet pilot. So of all the people that actually get, like, basically the worst pilot of the group was the pilot. I feel like it should have been Alpine. Oh my God, here we go. Mr. C shows up.
What I can do for you. I'm mean. I'm bad.
This is great.
And I'm out of work.
Yeah.
Got any openings?
Mr. C guy shows up and wants to join the Joe team.
The physical.
And
Can
then
you,
he's, so
yep.
basically
Can you pass
they're
the
saying
physical?
They want Mr. T on the Joe squad.
Right.
How great is that?
They ask if he can pass the physical, and he throws a flex at him.
How great is that? I think, what am I thinking? No, I'm thinking of Rocky Balboa. Because Rocky was supposed to be a part of the Joe team. They were going to bring him in for real. They were going to bring him in on the Joes.
Really?
He shows up in the G.I. Joe Order of Battle.
Okay.
Which was a comic book that collected all of the G.I. Joe dossiers and would like list. It was like a Marvel's Guide to the Marvel Universe.
Sure.
Or DC Who's Who kind of book.
Okay.
But it was the same thing for G.I. Joe, and in it is Rocky Balboa. Because they thought they had the licensing locked down, and so Marvel produced this, and so there's a drawing of him, and it's Stallone. You Google it.
He's part of their universe.
Yeah, he is. But then for the toy, the actual final deal fell through, so they never made a toy of him. He became, my understanding is his toy became a guy called Big Boa, which was a Cobra boxing instructor.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, right. But it was supposed to be Stallone as Rocky, and so
Big Boa.
Yeah, so Rocky, who fought Clubber Lang, who was portrayed by Mr. T,
was going to be Mr. C on the Joes.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So maybe this was their effort at getting Clubber Lang in the
They were going to bring that all together and tie it in.
Right?
Big Boa. The snake puns never end.
No, they never do. They really, why should they?
Well, you'd think there would be a limit to them.
No, there's no limit.
No.
There's no limit. Chris Ruhnke, G.I. Joe, what do you think?
You know what? I feel like I missed out as a kid. I feel like this would have been fun.
We just revealed a huge gaping hole in your childhood.
Missed opportunity. I enjoyed He-Man, but should have given this a chance.
Well, listen, now you can. You can reach out.
I will. And
these are available to be had and enjoyed. They're on iTunes or on DVDs. They're not on Netflix. They were on Netflix for a long time, and hopefully they'll come back.
Maybe I can skill up my G.I. Joe knowledge and make a better return.
Oh, dude, this was a great return. There's no need for a better, although you're always welcome back. Chris Ruhnke, Local 134. Thank you so much for being a guest.
Thanks for having me. This was fun. Thank you very much.
This was totally fun. And remember, if you're out there, follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, Joe on Joe Pod. Send me an email, joeandjoepod@gmail.com. And now you Joe, and Joeing is half the battle.